of his windowless prison and stared at his toes, which had long since ceased to fascinate him. Sometimes, especially if the guards didn't remember to lower the daily allowance of water and food, those wizened appendages took on the appearance of men he had known. Demas, who loved the world more than Christ, Crescens, Titus, Alexander the coppersmith, Governor Felix. He closed his eyes, slamming the door on the images of those who had deserted him. He would rather envision beloved friends. Timothy, so young and full of righteous zeal. Priscilla and Aquila, fellow tent-makers with whom he had shared laughter and many a meal. Barnabas, his constant encourager. Aya, his sister. Avniel, his nephew. And Luke, beloved Luke. Keeping his eyes closed, Paul crossed his arms and smiled as the iron bracelets clanked. As far as he knew, his friends were alive and still free. Thank you, Yeshua. May God be praised. Making his way past the Temple of Jupiter, Luke felt the tension in his shoulders ease. The Tiber River lay just ahead, and beyond it stood the Roman market where people did business at all hours. During the day, merchants of trade goods occupied the dilapidated booths, while vendors of another sort plied their wares after sunset. A hooded figure would not appear out of place in the crowded market, though a well-known Christian would be at risk anywhere in the city. He flinched when a bony hand grabbed his shoulder and forcibly swung him around. "Hello there." A thin-faced man gave him a wide, disturbing smile. "What's your pleasure?" He stepped closer, his breath stinking of infection and rotting teeth. "Boys or girls?" Luke shrugged off the man's hand and staggered away, his heart twisting at the reminder that evil lurked around every corner in this city. Rome was reported to be the greatest city in the world, but Nero's Rome had begun to smell of decay, a rot that came from within. That realization never failed to trouble his spirit. Influenced by the world's greatest thinkers, artists, scholars, rulers, and military men, Rome had been home to some of civilization's most noble men, and home as well to the most dishonorable of people. In Nero's Rome, on any street corner, a man could find beauty and perversity, generosity and stinginess, abundance and scarcity. In the area where he walked, the walls of the buildings functioned as signboards on which public opinion was clearly, and often rudely, expressed. He read as he walked. Alcmaeon, Orestes, and Nero are brothers. Why? Because all of them murdered their mothers. Count the numerical values of the letters in Nero's name, and in murdered his own mother, you will find their sum is the same. The palace is spreading and swallowing Rome. Let us all flee to Veii and make it our home. Yet the palace is growing so wickedly fast that it threatens to gobble up Veii at last. His friends would undoubtedly share the news about what was currently happening in Rome, but these buildings frequently offered better reporting because they didn't attempt to soften the truth. Still, he hadn't come back to report on Rome. He'd come back to see his friends, if he could find them. He walked on, heading to the appointed spot, a statue of Nero near the Tiber, and kept his back to the river so that no one could creep up on him unobserved. The moon had barely risen, but the sliver of silver cast a white beam over the trash heaped along the river's edge. Though he would wait for as long as necessary, he hoped his escort would soon appear.